right. So, Can Cars, episode 11. We're in Mike Day's garage again.
Yes.
And it's a hot one today.
It is a spicy one.
It is 97 degrees outside last time I checked.
Is it 97?
Yeah.
I thought I saw 93.
I got in the car and I was like,
I saw 93.
no.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Once you surpass
Over
90,
anything over
it's like,
90 in Ohio,
I don't
doesn't
know,
matter.
It's just freaking
Feels
hot.
the same.
Yeah, it's
death.
instant sweat.
It hasn't rained in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, but it's
lawn
gonna
hasn't
rain
grown
for the
and I
next
don't
like
mow
2
it.
weeks consecutively.
I'm kind of
so
okay with the rain. I could use some gloominess in my life.
But it's gonna be rainy and 95.
Yeah, so you're basically in Florida.
Ugh. Except in Florida, it would be like nice and there's beaches. In Ohio, you just get
Have you been to Florida?
not in a very long time, but yeah, it's been a while.
The whole thing's not a beach, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Well,
just a perimeter.
anything can be a beach if you try hard enough.
So we pretty much just have a bunch of daily ramblings that catch up on, really.
Yeah, realistically, we didn't
Yeah.
pick a topic for today.
We
So,
were
we missed,
1 week ahead on recordings, and then 4th of July and various
Everyone taking
other like
vacations.
beginning of summer vacations kind of hit all at the same time. End of the year for some of us, so we're kind of killing vacation type of things, and fell a little behind. So trying to get this one out on time.
Yep.
But that means we've had a lot of time to tinker around with stuff and do some of the beginning of summer activities.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Correct. What kind of activities have you been up to? Everyone?
Let's just make the rounds.
All right.
Cab Dog, you start.
Yeah,
Oh
Kevin.
boy.
Go.
Oh, he's like, oh, I got too much.
What do you want first? Like the pole barn update?
No,
or?
all of it. We want all of it.
Yeah.
Give us all of it.
I think last time we talked about the floor being done. Floor's done.
Yep.
Floor's done.
Floor's good.
Correct.
It's not like falling apart or anything yet.
Looks good. And you redid the one half. I don't know if
Yeah,
you
we
mentioned that
talked
before.
about that.
We did.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
had to
Floors on
redo,
that.
had to grind
Yeah,
down
looks good.
spots that had moisture on them. It was really weird, whatever. Lesson learned, just don't epoxy coat your garage floor when there's any like large changes in temperature at all. Just don't even do it.
And don't use the muriatic acid that
Yes,
the
also-
instructions
also
say
that.
specifically not to use.
Use the like, I didn't know it was in the box until I got to the bottom and it already had done one half of it. I'm like, oh.
Well,
So that would help.
there we go again with the camera. Continue.
So my other project on the barn has been getting I had the week off and really dove deep into getting a gas line out to the barn so I can have heat for the winter.
Dug deep.
Dug deep, literally. 18 inches,
18 inches
18 to
deep.
24 inches deep for 135 feet.
Did you rent one of them giant chainsaw things?
I rented a giant chainsaw for the ground.
Nice.
You're actually supposed to run into the ground. My property has a ton of rocks, so it was a process. I got it done in less than 4 hours, picking up the equipment, bringing it to my house, setting it up, doing it, cleaning it, bringing it
Hey
back.
man, that just goes to show you the right tool for the job.
You know, you'd
It
think
always pays.
they have a price for 4 hours, they have a price for 24 hours, and I was like, oh, I'm definitely going over 4 hours. Got done with it, and I was like, oh, wow, wait a minute, I can get this back in time if I just like kind of, get my shit together and bring it back to Home Depot. And so I think it was $160 to rent for 4 hours versus 220 or something like that. So
Early in the wrenching career, I went through the whole making do with what I had kind of situation. I knew there's the right tool out there, but you can never have all the tools. And I
There's
just
the heat of the moment
struggled
versus-
through everything for so long. And then I don't know one day it was like flipping the switch. I just take the time, either go buy the tool or go rent the tool because AutoZone and all them places rent all of them for free. It just makes life so much easier.
I can't imagine any other tool that you would try to use besides a shovel for this job, though.
A backhoe.
Digging it, I mean, yeah, okay, you could go overkill, but you don't have that.
Right.
So
Well, but think about if you were doing compound projects and you needed the backhoe, you could do multiple things at once.
Absolutely, and
you could dig that hole and move that pile of dirt.
If you
that's
have a
behind the barn.
backhoe, you find stuff to do with
Of
it.
course.
Absolutely.
Well, look, we have a skidster at my dad's house, and boy, if there's any opportunity for me to drive around on that thing,
Looking
bet
for
I'm taking
excuses.
it.
Yeah.
Go move that fill dirt. All right, fine.
yeah, I mean, you do what you need to do, but in my case, the only thing I was trying to do is dig this trench, so
Yeah.
it was fun. I sweat a bunch, and
Sad.
really
For under
dirty.
4 hours to do how many yards would you say that is, or
it's
meters?
135 feet of trench.
Those are not either of the units that
Divided
are
by 3.
requested. Okay, yeah. Okay.
You think in
so-
yards? What kind of maniac are
what-
you? Yards are for fabric.
I don't know I don't know what like 40 yards
And
looks
football
like.
fields.
Oh yeah.
I
In
don't know
terms
what
of football
120
fields,
feet
you
looks
know,
like.
Almost
you
a
know,
football
That is
field?
the worst reference for me.
Really?
But
Football
I
fields?
feel you, Will. I understand what you're saying.
How much
Yeah.
time do you
100
spend
it's like
on
when
a
you
football
start
field?
getting in like
Zero.
large terms of length. Yeah, I guess you can talk in like
Well,
sections of a mile if you're
Keep in
into
mind-
drag racing or something like that. But you know,
in Ohio, we just measure distance in any form of anything.
yeah, it doesn't really matter. We're interchangeable.
Right.
Okay. Well, anyway, the trench got dug. I learned about plumbing.
How's that?
It was fun. So we have the whole
Not the shitty kind though.
No. The
Well,
gas.
yeah, the
Different
gas
kind of
kind.
gas.
still smells like eggs, but either way, it's a natural gas line. So I had to do all the hard pipes and stuff. Basically, took my old line to the house for the furnace and teed off of it, and did a valve and a union and a underground plastic line, and then brought it out to the barn and went up the wall and blah blah blah. So get my final sign off hopefully this week.
Did you
but
buy a heater yet for the garage?
Not yet.
No.
I need to figure out what I'm doing for that.
You gotta buy one of those hanging ones that
Yeah.
one of them big Johnnies.
Oh yeah, it's going. It's the plan is to put it kind of up in the center of it,
Yeah.
near the wall type of thing. So
I think that'll be fairly easy to be heated since
Yeah.
you spent all the time and did the installation correctly.
well, we still have the walls to do. So
Yeah.
that's the next step really.
Yeah.
I'll,
Are you
I'll
gonna
probably
do
do insulation and walls first, and then figure out the heater later.
Are you doing styrofoam insulation? Or you gotta do the spray foam? Like you
We
gotta have.
fiberglass.
Okay.
Styrofoam.
Yeah.
Well, they have that.
What kind of hillbilly stuff are you?
You never seen
building?
that? They cut it into the slats and they just slide it in there. And you
I
just,
have seen that.
that's
Oh, yeah. Well, that's like home interior
That's a
stuff,
pain.
like not.
well, no, I
exterior
just-
facing
yeah,
wall.
no. I mean, there's 17 million different ways
Yeah.
to do it.
That's
so,
fair. That's
you
fair.
know.
I know what you're talking about.
spray foam's too expensive.
Yeah.
Foam backed or paper backed fiberglass is easy, available, cheap. So
Itchy,
kind of cheap.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever.
And itchy.
But effective. It is probably one of the better insulators.
Effectively itchy.
Uh-huh.
People wouldn't put up with it if it wasn't.
That was my big project. I also got the race quad running. So
Yeah.
the quad that I like.
That's fly.
All right,
I don't know if you
okay.
can hear this thing. Sorry, I'm
I
getting
can't.
distracted.
No.
No.
The quad that I welded material onto the piston to make the motor high compression is functioning now.
Mm.
I had blasted the frame and painted the whole. I think I talked about this last week. Did it, coated the whole frame and steel it. Redid the wiring harness with some loom, fixed some melted areas and stuff, and just made it look nice. Tucked everything away a little bit. Made the exhaust, the custom exhaust for it, the custom stainless exhaust for the
Yep.
tiny Moto 4, which gets super hot super fast.
Oof.
And also the head gets very hot, I think, because of the high compression. Haven't really
Uh-oh.
figured that all out yet, and it's super slow right now. So there's something going on with the carb. I need to figure out either needs more fuel, less fuel, more air, less air. I don't know what it is, but I'll figure it out with time.
Needs both. More
Yeah.
air and more fuel for more power.
Yeah, maybe it needs nitrous. I
Boost.
don't know.
That would be sick. I'd like to see that. I'm in. I'm in for.
I've always wanted to. You can go buy one of the like,
Little
little sneaky
50 shot.
peek kits from Summit and just like strap it to the side of the
I don't know.
quad.
That would be rowdy.
They're little, what,
I
what
feel like
size
it
are
would
these
explode
bottles?
though
They're like-
immediately. It would just.
Whatever. It's $30 for a top end. Like,
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
that's why I'm trying this in the first place, you know. So
That's true.
yeah,
Huh.
we'll figure that out eventually. But that was kind of a big hurdle.
Is it gonna be done by the 18th?
I mean,
Okay.
it's functioning right now.
Is it
Everything
fast?
works.
Have you driven it?
I just said it wasn't fast.
Okay. I missed it.
It's very slow right now. There has an issue, but
Okay.
it runs good. It starts fine. It idles fine. All that stuff. So
I could be way off base here, but I did suggest that I think perhaps it could be just really lean.
could be.
So because
They
I
were
bought the
pretty
same,
lean to begin with.
So yeah, and I bought the same like eBay, whatever, Amazon carb that's like universal. Lists like for everything. Lists like 80s, 90s,
Yeah,
110s,
like
125s,
60 to
whatever.
140 cc's.
And it doesn't come with any other jets, so whatever jet's in it, like, cause I actually put the same one on the ATC 90, and it it ran mint out of the box. At least I think so. I mean, I haven't really ridden it around, but it seems to run well.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the quad runs good.
Yeah.
It starts
Just
fine,
slow.
it idles fine, it revs fine, but then you go to ride it and it's like, it's
Did you
full
put the
pit.
race tires on it? Is that
No,
is that why it's
no,
all
no,
throwing
no,
you off?
no. It has the regular little pin
Yeah,
tires
type
on
ones.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
seven,
those.
7 are they 7-inch?
It's factory Moto 4 size, whatever that is.
Yeah.
So either way, there's something very wrong. I mean, obviously it's heavily modified.
The fact that
compared-
it's getting hot is definitely an indicator.
the
of
head is
something.
getting very, very hot.
Get the cam off a tooth.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because I've done that.
Yeah.
It's possible, but
They're
I
real
was
lazy. when they have
Pretty
them off the
sure.
And they'll
we'll
run
double
when they're
check it.
pretty far off.
tooth. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Yeah,
You just have to
double
pull a
check some
cover and
stuff.
look. So.
I haven't really, been in there. I haven't gone too far into it. I just got it going and kind of took it around the yard for its maiden voyage, and that's.
Yeah, and we're disappointed.
And then we got
that was it.
into drift med things.
Yep.
So
Yeah, this weekend. It's the first time I've been out drifting. Your second time out drifting.
yeah, my
And it
first time
was-
didn't go so well. So
Extremely hot.
Yeah.
But
should we
Car
get
looks
into that
good.
now?
I did see I saw that the fenders are now painted.
yes.
It looks good.
Yep. I
haven't
have
seen
ruined
it.
the
I wanna
paint
go see.
in 2 locations. Yeah, it's in the street there. In the,
I know.
in the trailer.
It's in the trailer.
I'm that guy on the street with
doesn't-
a big dopey thing in the way.
It's out like on a course. It doesn't really look like anything.
It's crazy.
But
It
up close,
looks
it
way
looks-
less like intense than it did before.
It looks
Right now,
intense
it's
when
like-
you're just sitting
Yeah.
around it and you're like, wow, all right, this thing is full spaceship. But
When you get close, yeah. But from all the
Yeah.
pictures
Maybe
and
it's-
videos that I saw,
yeah, maybe it's just the
Yeah.
black. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
like,
the black
you
high-
really
I
don't
kinda
notice it.
I kind of like it though. It's like very.
I needed to go through this
sleeper-esque.
phase.
It's unexpected almost to a point, but it's like something's up with it. You're like that's ominous, but
I mean, something's up when you hear it.
Oh, yeah.
anyway, So
Yeah, that's not
there's that
subtle.
factor.
right.
But yeah, like I think a vinyl wrap or something would make it really pop. But
Yeah.
the sleeper aspect
Make
is
it
also.
pop.
Yeah, I need to go
Fuck
through the sleeper phase with it first.
Yeah.
And then once I ruin more paint on the fenders, then it'll
Yeah,
go
just
to the wrap zone.
regular wrap.
But-
Huh.
So that's been your like main concentration for the past couple weeks, right?
Yeah, I was trying to hustle to get it done for this event. I was trying to do this relatively quickly, but with the whole COVID thing, there was like no push to get it done. So I've just been taking my time with the wide body. But yeah, Shane helped me last week. Yeah, or the week before, just do a bunch of body filler and misery sanding and awfulness. So we knocked out all that in like 3 days after work
Ugh.
and made the biggest mess. Then I dropped the panels off at Mako, and that was more expensive than I expected and of much lower quality than I was
Ooh.
hoping for.
You didn't
Yeah.
slip the guy at 20 like you said you were
No,
going
the
to.
guy wasn't. Didn't,
go ahead. Go. I need to know more.
Yeah,
so
I do too.
You talk to the guy at the counter, but not the guy that actually does it. So
yeah.
So your plan was to do all the prep work. You talked to
I did all the
Mako.
prep
They
work.
wanted like bottom of the barrel paint job was like $400 for a car.
Right.
Is what
It's-
they said at least.
So they did talk me into the next, because that was the enamel paint. They did talk me up to the like 2-stage, like a modern paint.
Okay, yeah.
For it's $100.
So what was the enamel? Just a single stage, whatever, and then
Yeah.
to go to like a
single
base,
spray with
base
a-
clear was
Yeah.
how much?
$500.
Just another $100.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So-
I mean that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Something you can buff out and like
Right, exactly. That's
You
it.
can
For
make it
another
look
$100
okay.
while I'm there, I'm like, good.
Wet
Okay.
sanding action, all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. It was $500. They charged me for
So-
the whole car to do the panels.
I don't know.
Yeah,
So you should have brought him the whole car.
I know, but I saw the people prepping and masking stuff. I'm not bringing them anything ever.
yeah, half your windshield would be black.
Yeah, if that,
Well,
if
you
only
could pull
half.
the windshield yourself too.
I'm not trying to go full rest
No,
on
I
it,
know, I'm
especially,
saying, but you-
especially once you see how nice the paint came out. You'd realize that was not worth it. I should definitely have not
So
done the
nice.
whole car.
I could have done that.
Term.
Yeah,
I've
I
never
could have done
painted-
that in the yard.
Is it
Okay.
is it bad?
It's not good.
Okay.
There's a lot of like imperfections.
Well, you know,
and
you
stuff.
said in an earlier episode that you were like, I'm gonna try it and see how it goes.
No,
I was
This
like,
is
think
the
it
car
was-
to try it. It
Now,
looks
granted,
great
okay,
on that
I'm
car.
gonna play
Yeah.
devil's advocate here. You were the one to prep the panels.
Oh, you can see.
how much.
You can
like,
see exactly
it
where the
wasn't- it
prep
wasn't
was the
prep.
issue. No, I mean you can see where I prepped poorly, and that's I'm writing that off because that's my fault.
Uh-huh.
You can see where it's totally the painter's fault, and not mine. You'll take. We'll open the.
Yeah, I gotta-
trailer.
yeah, I gotta go.
We'll do
Take
a
a look
maybe we'll
after
do a
this.
live video after this recording.
That's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, it's
They won't know, but
What do you mean?
yeah, whatever.
the people.
Who won't know?
Yeah, it'll
Our
be
4
live
listeners.
before the
For listeners, we have some amount of followers. It's fine.
Okay.
But yeah,
Speaking of which,
so-
hang on, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna say I did see that we got a review on iTunes. Thank you.
Oh.
Leave us reviews. Leave us
Who's
feedback.
the reviewee?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't even
there's-
think they left any text.
Is there
but
no
they-
name?
They dropped us some stars. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
How
one
many
listener
stars?
on
It was
iTunes.
5 stars.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So we are now a 5-star podcast.
It wasn't me.
Technically,
It wasn't me.
It wasn't
it
me
wasn't
either.
me either. I don't.
I felt that was
Why have we
unfair.
not done that?
I don't know. I did.
You can't
what
do
are
that.
we
That's
doing?
like liking your own
I
Instagram
thought
photo.
about it
That's
and I was
weird.
like, that's a little
but-
messed
No.
up. So,
But in the startup here,
I don't know.
No, it's
cheating.
not. It's
yeah,
cheating.
all right, fine. You're right.
Yeah, no.
But hey,
Let's be
5
modest
stars.
about
So
it.
thank
get
you.
other people
We'll gain
work
the
to do
people
it.
that we need.
Please
to gain.
leave us ratings.
Yes.
You know, if you want to just drop some stars, if you
Yeah.
want to
Also,
drop some comments.
I've personally been watching the CAD to Cars Instagram inbox, and I'm disappointed with all the people that don't send us messages.
Yeah, messages, questions, topic ideas, all of those.
Anything really.
It's okay.
I'm
We'll get
kinda-
there.
No, no. I'm just like, how many times have we said it?
All right, Dave's getting worked up. Let's get
Get-
Anyway,
I'm
back to the
Mike
drift
finish,
event.
Yeah.
So first time out.
Yeah.
We almost had a bad time.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
so I'm having some, unrelated issues with the car that were present last year, and instead I built a wide body. So, the car has always done some stuff where, like, the fuel it's an eBay fuel cell. It's got, like, a suction tube thing from the top of the tank, and the fuel pump's mounted way too far away, but it was the space I had in the time I had. So, if it's below half a tank, it's pissed and, like, sort of dies out on course. Or, apparently, if it's really hot. So, it was full gas, a couple runs in, the car's hot, and Kevin's following me, and it decides to die mid-corner. So, Kevin gets mighty close.
Yeah.
Was able to save it, but mighty
Yeah.
close.
Goodbye,
So,
wide body.
Like how?
Yeah.
Like how
Ugh.
close? Like
less,
uncomfortably, like
within a foot from my
like,
mirror.
By the time
Okay,
we
so
stopped,
I've gathered the feedback from both of them, and they both thought it was game over.
Oh,
so
no.
it was that close.
Yeah.
Okay.
I looked in my rearview mirror and saw the side of Kevin's car, like, up against the taillight. I was like,
No. So
So-
you had a what you would call a butthole pucker moment.
yeah, it was nothing I could do. I'm just
I
sitting there whacking the pedal, waiting for the car to
we
wake
were in a
up.
corner where I was trying to reel him in.
Yeah.
So I was already trying to like aggressively go towards him, and then I realized he's not aggressively going forward.
He's not moving at all.
No, he was moving, just slowing
not-
down.
Yeah. Okay.
It's hard. I mean, like, that's probably how most accidents happen in drifting. Is the person up front has, an issue,
Right.
or it's usually an issue. It's not
Right.
usually like a normal run. You wouldn't expect anything weird to happen. You're trying to follow close. Boom. Person in front. Because you're the whole time you're behind someone. You're trying to anticipate what they're doing.
Yeah, you're not
like,
anticipating.
all right,
the
when
car
are you
to die.
going to transition? All right, that's when I'm going to lift off throttle and try to go the other way, and not like I'm not expecting him mid-turn to just
Stop.
shut down.
Yeah.
To be fair, I wasn't expecting it either.
I know. I was expecting.
You were both like, oh.
We were trying to hit each other,
Right.
but it almost happened.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Huh.
once we anticipated that, we stopped being as close. And I let the car cool off for a bit. It seemed to recover fine for a couple runs, and then it'd do it again. But we were able to switch cars, which was fun. I've never driven your car before.
Yeah,
That was fun.
I've never driven any other drift car besides mine.
Actually, yeah, me either.
Wow.
So
Did we have a bonding moment just now?
We did.
apparently the E36 is set up pretty well.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I mean,
fairly
I've driven
easy.
other BMWs,
Yeah.
but it was pretty easy to anticipate. And you got
Driving-
like plenty of locks, so it.
Right.
Yeah, predictable is good.
Yeah.
For drifting, at least. From a new car standpoint, right? When you hop into someone else's car and you can go, okay, this feels, fairly similar to something I'm used to. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I drove his car and everything's
Everything's weird.
yeah. It would
It doesn't feel right.
I think it would be really good if I spent more time in it. It's
Yeah.
just that one of those things. Like I went for the handbrake once, and my handbrake's on the other side of the shifter, and
Yeah.
his is on the close side, and I just grabbed air. Granted, I only got one lap because it vapor locked on me or whatever it's doing.
Yeah.
The second lap in on like the second turn. So
Huh.
What would you say is like the key component in a drift car that makes it easy to hop in to from one to another and make it easy to
I
drive?
think it's your own experience because I didn't
Yeah.
loop it out or anything. I went out there and was able to slide every corner just fine, pretty much. But it was.
I had thoughts on it. I just wasn't sure if you were going to come up with them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like having a bunch of angle lets you kind of have a butter zone of like you can really step it out and try to figure out the car how it is in a corner.
But I also went into it expecting an angle kit. You know, I wasn't like, oh, this car has like stock angle. Like I'll take it easy on the
right. Yeah,
so, you know, first corner. I'm gonna go into it, you know, full send pretty much. And
I was thinking the same thing. It's probably like a lot of buffer. It's a lot of having a lot of angle so that it's harder to run out. And I would say probably grip too. Like having
the grip is what's strange. Our cars were on the same exact tire, so that helped a lot. So
this was the first time I ran a 265 on.
Yeah, same
car.
with me. And the car felt way faster than I remembered from my car. I don't know what you went back to back, so I'm not really sure.
I started the day on some old Ironmans.
Yeah.
And honestly, it wasn't, other than the fact that when it's going slow, I didn't need to like clutch kick or anything to get it going again, like get back into the power. It wasn't that much of a grip step up.
Okay.
So when you're sliding, when they're hot, when they're, you know, just melting away pretty much, it to me it didn't feel like it made that much of a difference.
Okay. Did they have like a water pit there or anything like that?
No.
So you try to cool them down?
Yeah.
No, but like my first lap out, first 3-4 laps out, when the car went from essentially cold, so it was actually the only time the car was at 150 degrees or less. After that, even letting it sit for an hour, it was at like 200, 205.
Yeah, things were spicy.
Yeah,
I had 240 once.
I was a little bummed I didn't make it, but then after the fact, I thought about it. I was like, ooh, you know, I don't think it would have made it.
It was a lot.
You know,
it was a lot.
It was hot.
But I mean, really grip-wise, I don't know. I guess
my car felt like more grip, but I hadn't driven it in a long time, and I changed a bunch of stuff in the front end.
Yeah.
And the rear end, actually.
I mean, it definitely had more. It obviously has more, but it wasn't like a huge change.
Okay.
Like I'm going from a 235 all season whatever to like a drifty boy 265 that seems pretty sticky. Like on the outside, you're just by like handling them. Mm-hmm. They seem like there's something they're gonna grab pretty hard, but yeah, I mean, the car doesn't make that much power, and for it to be able to drift on that, even one of the guys there that, like Alex said, he just like asked me what size tire, because he also was like, I wonder why the car sounds like that. Oh, it's supercharged.
Right.
Oh, but it doesn't make that much more power. It's like kind of like stock M3 power. I don't know. He was surprised it was on 265s.
Yeah.
And able to drive, essentially.
Right, yeah.
It's a lot of tire for sub 300 horsepower.
Right.
Is it under 300 horse?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, both are.
I did not know that.
They did seem to last pretty long, but that course also makes them last long.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering, I was watching the videos from that, and it being a flat, essentially a flat course, right?
Yeah.
A parking lot.
Yeah.
How was that? Huh?
Just cones in a parking lot.
Yeah, so compare that to something like Midvale.
Depends on the surface.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care how much of a bank you have. It depends on like whether you have concrete or fresh pavement or whatever it was.
Fresh asphalt.
There's also
or something
the size of the aggregate or whatever in the pavement. That makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if they're really close together, that stuff seems to be
or if
really
they use
slippery.
like rock. Or,
Yeah, if it's the coarser stuff, that shreds tires and seems to be a little grippier.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. So like concrete compared to, you know, like
it's
asphalt.
like 80 grit versus 200 grit.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, they had just repaved that entire parking lot, so it's pretty smooth overall.
And that was at
Pit race.
Pit race. Okay.
Yeah, they just let us play on the parking lot there, basically. They also had a track day going on, so
Yeah.
we just kind of... They opened it up more, actually, recently. So we used to have a tiny corner of it, and now we got a little bit further out.
There you go.
It's a big benefit. Takes away from parking spaces, but at the same time...
Yeah, but I mean, how many people are showing up, honestly?
Threw down some kind of, like, reflective paint or something.
Yeah, it's
and
like
they
they have
have,
a little
like,
road course set up or something like
okay.
that.
like a learning to drive type of course set up out there. But, man, when you hit, like... You'd think just, like, one strip of paint wouldn't be a big deal. You're like, oh, you just kind of go over it. You feel the whole car shift.
Oh, really?
Like, you're going sideways over it, you feel it drop back like 3 feet.
Yeah. It's like
a
very big patch of ice. It's so
oh, yeah.
strange.
Well, it's like when you stop at a stoplight and it's raining and you hit the paint, you know, you pull forward, you know.
Right, but that's,
You hit
usually a stop line's, 12 inches wide.
Right.
Yeah,
something
these
like
are
that.
like
4-inch
Yeah.
sections.
Well,
and
I mean, I guess relative to
even
movement-
walking around in the pits, you could use. I stepped on it.
Close
and
your
I was,
eyes and you just know where
I
it
was
is.
like, whoa.
Oh, okay.
That's really slippery. I don't
So
know
it's-
why this paint is so slippery, but it is slick.
Huh. What do you
Yep.
know?
So yeah, it was cool.
Interesting.
So other than
So you
that,
guys went and drifted and had fun.
Yep.
E36 didn't break. My new
Good.
caliper brackets are good to go.
Yeah, because you had to Kevin them and make them better,
Yeah, I had to
which
fix
is
things.
fine. Sometimes that happens.
Some people just don't know how to get their stuff together and
Oh, yeah.
design a part, you know.
We'll just leave it at
I
that.
didn't drop any names.
Yeah, my car broke like the second Kevin hopped in it. So
Yes.
Is that a reflection on your car or a reflection on Kevin?
no, it's something I've known about for a
Shots
while.
fired. That's
No,
low,
no.
Dave.
I was just a question.
Just the ignition switch died.
Hey, my
it's
car
been on
ran-
the fritz the whole time. And
Did you
now
use the factory ignition switch for that?
It is the last Volkswagen part, I think.
Well, you should probably change that because they go bad frequently.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm pretty sure the one that's in the Mark III is the same as the
But-
one that's in the Corrado, and it's a pain in the ass to change.
But you
mine's
also
easy
like
now.
integrated the Volkswagen ignition switch with the EWS from the BMW.
Well, no, not for the starter thing. EWS is just for the ECU needs to see the rolling code,
Right.
so it'll start.
Yeah.
But that's not integrated. That's the BMW harness is separate. There's like 4 wires that connect it to Volkswagen, and it's just like power, ground, and like fuel pump, and that's it. That's all it cares about. So, but yes, there is a key
Just-
under my dash
just-
from my E34, so the EWS thinks it's okay, so that I
Right,
can
there you
drive the
go.
damn
Just put the
thing.
key.
Okay, so you got
Zip
two
tied to
ignitions.
the
Yeah.
ring.
Yeah, okay.
The little,
Yeah, the little reluctor ring and all that stuff. It's not
Put the
happy
key
about
somewhere
it.
you
Do
can't touch it or
Nope.
see it ever, and it can't ever escape. And
Yep,
Yeah,
it's zip tied under there, right where I know where it is. But
it won't move ever. It's like a
So
it's
it-
like a safety switch.
for people that don't know,
Yeah.
it's an immobilizer. And
Yeah.
in the '90s, BMW had this system that
what an
had a
overly
chip.
complicated thing.
it worked
it
really
had
well.
a chip
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
key, right in the
Yeah, it's
like the
it's
top
a
part of the
transponder
key.
ring in the receptacle. The key has a chip in it, and then there's a separate box that goes from that module to another one that sends a rolling code that changes every time you start the car between the ECU and that box. So the key has to match. Once it matches, it'll pick a new code, and the ECU is going to predict a new code, and then once it matches, it fires up. So you can bypass the starter side of it easy, and that's what I did.
Yeah,
But
it won't fire.
yeah, it won't fire. It won't open the injectors. It won't do the fuel pump. A couple other things. As Will can recall, because we tried to dick around with it
Yeah.
with the scan
Tried
tool.
the EWS like simulator thing.
Yeah, I
that
got
didn't
some
work.
eBay like chip thing that's supposed to replicate
$30
EWS and does not work.
The
Yeah.
instructions were very vague.
I've heard it's a nightmare
Yeah.
to delete that.
And then we tried.
If you go to a
code it.
tuner, they can do it. But
Where's
it's like $400
Mr.
for another
Gibby when you
tune.
need him?
Yeah. So
What about you, Will? How's the double Mazda gang?
Well,
Triple Mazda
alright,
gang,
so,
actually.
Obviously, it's man. I think it's been like we were a week ahead, so it's been at least two.
It's been 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks since we recorded last.
Hmm.
So in that time frame, I would like to say that I was kind of a little bit bummed I missed the drift event, but and I half contemplated still coming because I got back from my vacation on Saturday. And
I didn't
was
know
just-
you'd be back by then.
I was pretty roasted, and
Yeah.
it was, I mean,
He's been on real
retro-
vacation.
Yeah, like actually not here, but yeah. In retrospect, though, I was thinking, I was like, man, I haven't touched that car since I don't know, drove it through the winter, but I haven't like actually done any maintenance or fixed any problems since the end of the drift series last summer, and it likes to get spicy. Oh my god, Kevin. Okay.
If you could hear you.
Well, somebody didn't make my headphones work. So, anyways,
Offended. I can't just make
Move
a-
on.
I
I'm
just
throwing
can't
shade
just
around
make
here.
a
All
point.
right.
Move on.
But yeah, no, man, even when it was in like the 80s, like most of those events that we went to, and I couldn't do more than maybe like 3 consecutive laps without it getting real hot.
Right.
So I don't think it would have made it yesterday, like
Yeah.
at all.
I was
Yeah.
after 3 laps. I was 230 degrees, and
Yeah.
that's more than I want to. An aluminum head
Yeah.
type of.
See,
Uh,
it's quite loud.
so I'm not sure what's going. I mean, who knows? It might just need to be like bled better or something like that, because I didn't put a whole lot of effort into that last time either. But
You could do some
anyways, we
thermostat
got
tricks,
what?
too.
What's that?
You could do some thermostat tricks with those too. That's
Or
the
just
other option.
remove it entirely.
Thermostat
No, you
tricks.
can't remove it on that. It's like an LS where it's got the
Oh.
bypass port.
Right. I
So
forgot
if you
about that.
plug it,
or just like cut it out.
Yeah,
like,
jam a
drill it
freeze
out.
plug in it or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Huh.
Anyways, it does need a little bit of attention on that respect. Anyways, so but hopefully we got another event in
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2
Yep.
weeks
That
after another exciting event, which we'll
the day
touch
after
on, we'll touch on after
another-
your
another
update.
big plan. So anyways, it shouldn't be much work to make it ready for that. I got tires, so I think I'll bring that to the forefront of my attention and address a couple little things and hopefully make that event. Otherwise, like I said, was on vacation the whole last week, but I think like the day after we recorded last, that's when I drove down to Georgia. So flew down to Georgia, got the truck from Rocky. Shout out to Rocky and Brittany for hosting. So I was down there. They showed us around. Excellent hosts. If you're ever in the Savannah area and need an Airbnb, I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
It'll be
Is
strangers.
that your first time in Savannah?
Yeah,
it's
it was really
beautiful.
good. I heard, so before
great.
I went, I talked to you. I think I mentioned it to Shane, who had been there like 4 times or
Yeah.
something like that, and they all had good things to say about it, and it lived up to the hype, man.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Did you go to Tybee Island at all?
No.
You missed out big. You gotta go back.
Okay. All right,
Yeah.
well, I'll go back.
You gotta go back. You gotta go to Stingrays. Stingrays is the restaurant to go to.
It
on
was
Tybee
good though. I
Island.
mean, we went out around downtown. Downtown's very nice.
It's very the
Plus-
culture there is very night active,
Yeah.
but like
I didn't
everyone
go out
there
at
is
night.
very
It
nice.
was
like
like
I was
They're
gonna say
just-
polite.
everyone there is very polite. They're always asking what's going on and how you are and whatnot. And I love Savannah personally. And
Yeah, it was nice.
it's a good time.
10 out of 10 would go back.
Yeah.
We had excellent tour guides as well. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, so grabbed the truck while I was down there. Before I went down, Rocky told me, he was like, a couple other minor issues. He says, yeah, speedometer comes in and out, whatever, not a problem. I'll worry about that later. It's not, gonna strand you or anything like that. And then he was driving around for a little while. One of the rear parking brakes exploded, got itself jammed up inside the drum, and just he had to pull over on the side of the road, rip it all
Right.
out of there. So it's fine. I can fix that. Not a problem. Don't need a parking brake. And other than that, it didn't really have any major issues. Other than he said there was a little bit of driveline noise or vibration, and I'm thinking, well, hopefully it's just a center support bearing, something like that. Whatever. I'm like, do you think it's drivable? He's like, yeah, I think it's drivable. So okay, no problem. Yeah, it was a little more worrisome than that. I
Yeah,
was
that's quite a drive.
I gotta drive it
to-
back anyway. So
that's-
what if
that's
something
quite a
breaks?
drive,
So
yeah.
be it.
It's
That'll
a-
help you identify the problem.
12, 13-hour drive, right?
Yeah.
Usually
So it
about-
was 11.
11
11.
from his house, yeah.
11 and
not
some
that
change
bad.
after stops and everything. So
Oh, okay.
It's not that bad.
yeah.
No.
And actually, it was I mean I've made 6-7 hour drives pretty frequently,
Yeah.
and that's no big deal. And I was thinking it was 11. That's a lot more, but it was just new scenery
That's
and
way
everything.
less
so
than
it,
I thought it would be.
Well,
honestly.
it's funny because you can tell once you get into that point where you get on that real straight highway and all the trees start to change.
Mhm.
That's when you can tell you're it's going to be warm here.
I thought it would be
getting
like
south.
18, 20 hours. That's
No,
11
no.
hours is
Yeah,
easy.
it was 11.
No, because
That's-
when we go down for European experience, it's usually I mean obviously we stop a lot. We go during the night, so we leave and we leave at 10 o'clock at night and get there at 7 in the morning or whatever. But
sounds awful.
Yeah, it sounds terrible.
it's easier to drive through North Carolina, South Carolina during the night. There's no traffic.
Yeah, but then the next day you're screwed.
Useless.
It don't bother me at all. But I'm just saying it's been I've made that drive multiple times and it's really not. It's actually a pretty relaxing
I was surprised
drive.
that
It's
I
pretty,
wasn't completely dead after
Yeah.
it. It was pretty good. But yeah, anyway, so the made some noises, driveline noises, and well, I'll deal with it when I get back. And made it back, no problem.
yeah.
It smelled kind of bad in there. Things were kind of dirty and gross. There's a lawnmower going now, in case you didn't hear it. Of
Every
course.
time.
Like every
Like
single
clockwork,
time.
man.
Every
It's
single
right
time
mid
where
podcast.
No matter
We're-
what day we're doing.
it doesn't matter what we're doing. Someone's
It's
running
hot
their
out. Why are you mowing the lawn?
Right.
I saw
This
the
is a-
landscaping
Wait till
truck
7
come by.
o'clock. I did see it.
7
Yeah.
o'clock. Wait till I'll mow my lawn at 10 o'clock if it's over 90. I don't care.
Try to be in bed by then.
Yeah.
But yeah, another thing, our master plan was
Didn't.
for me to go down at the same time to get my
I
trailer.
completely forgot about this. This is
So
so ironic.
the weekend you went down there,
Yeah.
I've been hounding the trailer place like, hey, is my trailer done? Because I can come get it this weekend. That'd be great.
Yeah.
And they're like, we can't commit to that yet. And then The day you were on the way back, I got the email like, "Hey, your trailer's done."
No.
I'm like,
Mike sent me a text
Oh,
message.
my.
I was like 2-3 hours into the drive home. Like I left at like 7 in the morning, something like that, 8 in
Yeah.
the morning maybe. And he's like, just got the email, my trailer's done. I was like, wow.
Did you turn around? Did you go back and get it?
I was. I would have had to backtrack 2 hours at that point.
More
Yeah.
than that, 'cause it was another hour and a half, 2 hours south of Rocky.
It was south. I thought
Yeah.
it was north.
Oh, okay. So it was that
Southwest.
plus X amount of time.
So I'm like,
Yeah. So I also went down the next weekend and hung out with Rocky too. So
that was such. Of course, that would happen though. It's one of those things.
Yeah,
like,
I mean that's typical.
if Mike had just said, F it, came anyways, and just like crossed his fingers, it wouldn't have been done.
no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
That's so.
It's only because he didn't.
Well, no, it would have been done the day you guys left, and that would have been
Yeah, exactly.
You would have been turning around anyways at 2 hours, 3 hours into your drive to get it.
Still would have made sense. But granted, like I said,
Yeah.
I didn't know that I was having some drivetrain issues.
Yeah,
so it's
that would have
probably
been
better
bad.
off that it didn't.
That you didn't pick
do
it
the
up.
trailer back anyways. So
yeah, for sure.
Because that's a decent sized trailer there, Mike.
Yeah, it's a big puppy.
So
So yeah, I got back. First thing I did was just like clean it thoroughly because, like I said, it was kind of gross. And interior came back pretty good.
Yeah.
And then next came, trying to figure out what was going on with the drivetrain stuff.
Yeah.
So
It kind of gave you some indicators there with the leakage.
it was very leaky. So
Ooh.
like right before I left, I was like, well, the least I could do is check the diff fluid, because I don't want that. That's like really the only thing
Right.
that could leave you
Yeah.
stranded is if the thing like the diff explodes, right.
Right.
So I was like, well, let me check how much fluid's in it. I think it takes like 3.5 quarts in the diff.
Okay.
And before I left, I was like, well, I'll just top it off. Like I'll just fill it until it comes out the fill hole, and it took 2 quarts. So and I was
Okay.
like, well, it was running pretty low there for a while, and it was very fluffy, like covered in like just dirt and just gross.
like someone hasn't touched it in ever.
Well, like it's been leaking for a long time,
Yes.
and all the dirt
Oh,
nearby stuck
okay.
to it.
Yeah. So, that wasn't a positive indication. So, anyways, whatever. Like I said, wasn't fixing it while I was down there. So, put 2+ quarts in it and drove it back. And when I got back, it was funny. The tailgate still, because I haven't washed it, is just like covered in like gear oil and everything because it was just
I
leaking
hate the
that
way it
bad.
smells. Gear oil stinks.
Yeah.
It does not smell good.
And so, I was like figuring, okay, well, I need to get stuff to rebuild the diff, and you add that stuff up, bearings, and before you know it, like it gets pretty expensive. So
Yeah.
Mike's like, well, at that point, you might as well just hit up Facebook Marketplace and just like try and find a whole another one. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's probably a good idea,
Oh, boy.
So hop on Facebook Marketplace, and I think it was just like the day after I got back, and there's a guy right around the corner in Norton, whatever,
Okay.
had one listed, same gear ratio, it was an LSD, it was at an F350. He wanted $200. So
There you
That's
go.
ridiculous.
went down there, gave him $150.
Luck of the draw.
And dragged that back home, and it was like he told me, he's like, yeah, I just put brand new fluid in it and everything, should be good to go. And I'm like, while I believe you, I should still
I'm
take the
gonna
cover
check
off.
anyways, yes.
I'll change it anyways.
Always.
So popped the cover off, and I sent Mike a pic. And it looks like at some point the pinion had made contact with the carrier housing, because it had like gear marks on it, and I'm
Okay.
like, well, that's not a good sign. And I'm like, because I was trying to leave for vacation the following day too, and I was trying to take the truck.
Yeah, let's
Right.
take this thing I just got with many questions.
So I was
You
like,
gotta
you know
test-
what? I don't care. What's the worst that could happen? So I put oil in it. I painted the axle or whatever, because why not? And put new fluid in it, jammed it in. I finished at like, I don't know, 8 o'clock the night before, took it around the block, seemed like it fixed the issue, and then left the next morning at like 7 o'clock for like another 6-hour road trip.
Did
Yeah.
you take it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
How was it?
Mint. Doesn't
Nice.
leak a drop, doesn't
Mint.
make any noise, like
There
it
you
is
go.
good to go.
That's a
So,
solid. That's a good
I can
deal.
only assume it ate a bearing previously in its life.
It
and
must
touched,
have,
and
because like I
someone
said,
put
the
bearings in it.
insides did look good. There was
Still.
no carnage. There was no fluff on the fill plug. It otherwise looked fine. So I was
Right.
like, and like I said, it's like one of those things. Like if you get something with whether it be an engine or a diff that has like brand new fluid in it, you're like, what are they
Yeah,
trying to
no,
hide
that's kinda-
there? So
yeah.
that's like a little bit of a red
Yeah.
flag. But you know what? I took the gamble, and I was like, because worst case scenario, I already lost my money. This one's also needs to be rebuilt. Whatever.
Better to
So,
have two than one.
jammed it in, and it was good. And it actually benefited me pretty immensely because it was the other thing I checked before I left Georgia was I was like, okay, Rocky, like, how's the spare tire on it? Spare tire, like, good to go? Because I'm thinking road trip mindset, like, brand new vehicle. And he's like, it doesn't have one. I was like, well, all right, cool. It's not like a dually. You can't just, like, flip-flop some tires around. Just going to have to chance it, whatever.
Yep.
So fortunately, this other axle that I bought for $150 came with 2 wheels and tires on it. So I was like, well, there we go. We got a spare out of it.
You got a whole.
And then I got, like I said, the parking brake didn't work. So now I got all the parking brake parts too. So
you lucked out.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well.
For $150, that's
It's a pretty crazy deal.
yeah, that's
On top of the deal you got for the truck.
Top of like an already good deal for the truck itself.
Right.
Yeah, it's running pretty good.
Making me wish I went that route with buying my truck, but
What
at
route?
the same time,
Rocky.
I mean, just some kind of like auction truck versus just buying it off someone. I mean, I got a
It is a
fairly good
gamble.
deal
Like,
still, but
you have to commit. Like, regardless of
Yeah.
whether you're there in person, like, you can only tell so much about. You only have so much time to look at it. I mean,
yeah. You can't. Do
it's a
much.
gamble no matter which way you look at it. And
Yeah.
I did. There was a fair amount of luck on my side with this so far. So.
Yeah,
You did
I
good.
think it is worth it. I'd probably do the same thing, just from a rust perspective. Just go down,
right.
have someone.
Oh
grab
my
something
God!
down
It's a
there.
pleasure to work with. You told me I wasn't going to get the U-bolts off like without damaging anything. Not a problem.
Really?
Didn't replace a damn thing. Yeah.
Oh,
Jammed it all back together.
Kelly.
Didn't buy any parts. Yeah.
I've never been able to get a U-bolt loose
Yeah.
ever. They never happen. So you always have to cut them. It's
So,
impressive.
yeah, so that was that. Took the truck on the road trip the following day after getting, the rear end swapped in, pretty flawless. Although I was just kind of on edge the whole time. I'm like, what was that noise? Did I assemble everything correctly? I kept wanting to like stop and like nut and bolt check everything, but it was fine. I mean, yeah. Well, that's the thing, because to get the rear end out of the thing, you have to undo like 10 bolts, I think.
Yeah.
You got probably 4 nuts for each of the U-bolts on either side.
Drive
One
shaft,
for,
shocks.
yeah,
and then
drive shaft, shocks, and then it's out.
Yeah.
Like, that was it. So
Brake lines.
brake lines. Yeah.
yeah, it was one bolt for the brake line that held it to the axle. Brake line stayed on the car with the brakes.
Okay.
So didn't have to bleed brakes, didn't have to do anything. So it was really, really easy. The hardest part was probably getting the ass end of the truck up high enough to like
You didn't
roll.
have to bleed them? What?
Didn't
They
disconnect it.
stayed. Yeah.
Oh.
You pull them off the axle that way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so not so bad. I think it did swap the whole axle in maybe like 4 or 5 hours, something like that.
It's pretty good.
Not
Yeah,
bad.
it's pretty good. How tight do you get them U-bolts? Because you gotta really reef them.
Torque to spec.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like the
it
only
was a
thing I have
lot.
to
It was a
torque.
lot. It was 180 foot-pounds or something like
Yeah.
that. So
It feels like you're really getting after it.
I did. And I was like, it just keeps going. Is it yielding? I don't know. So
it gonna
we eventually
break?
got there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does seem like a lot for a bolt of that size, because it's probably like an
Yeah, they don't.
M12 or something like that. It's
Oh,
not
really?
huge.
No, they're like 14 or 16. I
Maybe
thought.
14.
But
I don't think they're
It's
16.
got to be at least 14. I don't think you can torque an M12 with 180 foot-pounds. I think
Regardless
it'll
of what size it is, it doesn't seem like you can, because that's a lot.
Yeah.
But,
No, it
And they're
is
so
180
long,
foot-pounds.
That's what makes them twist forever.
yeah,
excessive.
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So
Does not give you the
Whatever.
warm fuzzies.
that's all good.
Huh.
Other than that, not a whole lot. Like I said, I was pretty much out and about for the last week on vacation.
Yeah.
And,
So the Mazdas went nowhere.
Yeah.
they did, but my parts were delivered the day that I left. All the
Hey.
head gaskets, the head bolts, all that stuff. So
Was
I
it
had
still
it
there
all.
when you got back?
It was.
That's good.
I was able to receive the parts. I received the parts, put them in the garage, and then had to leave.
There you
so,
go.
Yeah, ready to go. But I don't know. There's a couple things that might jump ahead of that in the line as of now.
Well,
Because
We have
first
this
is the
event.
drift event, which I already mentioned, so we'll work that in. Not a whole lot of work needed there,
I
but
should probably also mention
tiny
that
things.
I picked up a B7 S4.
Oh,
I did see
yeah,
that.
I forgot all about that.
We went past your turn, and now you're just dropping this on us.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about it. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to really touch it for a couple weeks because of things going on, but
Yeah.
pretty clean B7 2008 S4. The guy claimed that it was consuming a bunch of oil, which is probably scored cylinder walls on the weird silicone, whatever coating they have on the...
Is it Alisil or Nicosil?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's something that you can't fix.
Yeah, you can, but yeah, it's like more expensive to fix than to like just get another motor.
Mhm.
But
Okay. Well, either way, I don't know. We're contemplating on either 2.7 swapping it or finding another donor motor, which one of my buddies has two motors. One that came out of his car at 165 and one that came out of a parts car at 90,000. So
I'm just gonna
potentially.
But unknown condition.
I'm just gonna
on
give
that?
my opinion here for like 2 seconds, and you can yell at me if
He's
you
like,
want.
"Here's your VR swap."
Yep.
Yeah, I was waiting for that too.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
VRT swap. I'm here for
if
it.
No
anything's going in it, it'll be the 2.7 from the B5 because
Yeah, well,
it's well documented. There's
Yeah.
like
Yes.
pre-made harnesses out there.
what do you mean? There's all kinds of well documented VRT stuff.
The trans bolts
You're not selling
directly
anybody
up
on
to
that.
it with the
Okay,
B5
fine.
spacer.
Fine, Kevin.
I know B5 engines
Yeah.
in and out, so it's it's
No.
an option on the table. I think I want to stick with the 4G swap. This is
Yeah.
also for my girlfriend to learn, to have like a kind of cool car to learn to drive stick on, because really, honestly, to drive manual, if you don't have something you're driving every day,
No.
you're
It's,
not.
it's
never
too
gonna
hard to
get it.
learn.
You
You're
can
never
have someone
gonna-
teach you and someone teach you and someone teach you, but until you do it over and over and over again.
Always said that.
It's
You
muscle
need your
memory.
own.
Yep.
You one you're not worried about hurting.
So that's a car that like makes good noises, makes decent
Makes
power,
plenty
which
of
isn't
noises.
great.
Yeah.
It does not super fast, but it looks cool, it sounds cool, and
It's a
hopefully
good base platform for something that could be fun potentially.
Yeah, so hopefully we can throw like a basic timing kit in it. We'll have the engine out anyway, might as well do it
Yeah.
regardless. It already has a 6-speed. The car's
Ooh.
pretty clean.
Yeah.
There's almost no rust on it. There's a little bit on the fenders.
That's
the two
common
front
on the
fenders,
B7s,
not
though.
that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's pretty much stock. Interior's cleanable. And there's no rips in the driver's seats or
Alright,
anything.
you told me all the pros. How much you pay?
$2,000.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Alright,
that's
yeah.
a good
For
deal.
a clean shell, B7. It's got the DTM bumpers, the carbon fiber package, and everything. The interior is fairly clean. Like it could use some cleaning, but everything's
$2,000?
there.
What, you got to spend
That's a good
maybe
buy.
$1,000 on a motor top?
Worst
So-
case scenario, you could part it out.
I was originally
Easy.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I can make my money back
Yeah.
like really easily.
Yeah.
So I can always justify it. You're like, is it worth the investment?
Yeah,
Right.
justifiable is
Yeah.
always.
If it wasn't DTM and it didn't have the fancy bumpers everyone wants, and like honestly, the paint's pretty clean. It's been
Let
sitting
me see
outside
the
for a little
pictures
while.
that
It's
I
silver
saw.
gray metallic, right? Or
It's just silver,
okay.
typical Audi silver, whatever.
Okay.
Every car that Audi makes.
Well, I didn't know if it was like that, the silver,
No,
or if
it's
it was
nothing
like
special
the gray,
like color
dark
wise,
metallic.
but
Okay.
it's a good shell. So either way, I don't know.
Okay.
Supposedly, the motor consumes oil, but it could be a PCV system. Could be simple as that. It's got 150,000 miles on it, but there's no major rock chips or anything like that. The paint looks like it would clean up super easy. Yeah, the carbon fiber on it looks like it could use some clear coat on the outside, the spoiler and the front
Yeah.
lip thing. Those are factory pieces though,
Yeah,
so they'll clean up nice. We can throw some
Worth
sand it down.
refinishing too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
easy enough to
definitely
unbolt,
worth
whatever. But right now it doesn't actually crank, and I was under the impression that it would start when I got there, and it didn't.
Oof.
So apparently starters are a pretty common issue with those.
Yeah.
So
Where's the placement on the starter on those? Where's it at?
the passenger side above the motor mount? Kind of hard to get to, but
Okay.
I'll try to hit it a couple times, see if it does
Yeah.
something, see if I can
Loosen
crank
it
it
a little
over.
bit,
Get an
yeah.
extension down there. Bing, bing.
Give it a good old tap.
But the last thing the previous owner told me was that it was cranking and not starting. So it might be a crank sensor issue.
It's out of gas.
It might. No, it has a lot of gas in it. It has too much gas in it that I don't want to deal with is the problem. And I know it's been sitting for a little while, so
Oof.
I don't really want to touch that. But like, the caliper was seized. One of the calipers was parking brake probably was seized up, so it was dragging the tire.
bet-
And it finally
does that-
broke loose when you're pulling it out of the trailer.
Does
and-
it have the electronic parking brake on
No.
that car? Okay, good. Those are a nightmare.
Dude,
And it
definitely
actually
good.
feels like it's a normal parking. It's not like it rips, 12
Right, yeah,
miles
no, it's
before
not
it grabs anything. It
yanking
actually
it
works.
around.
So
Okay.
it seems obviously it'll need pads and rotors. They're too corroded and stuff.
I mean, it's another project essentially.
yeah, and
He was looking for one. He
Right.
got the pole barn.
I think that's a good
Right.
choice for a
It
project.
goes
for
right back to
for-
our
for the
managing,
price?
managing multiple
Yeah, I
projects.
think
right?
I think for the
Yeah,
price
good
that
one.
you got it for, I think
Throw
that's-
that in the mix.
Yeah, well, definitely. What I mean, like I said, what you spend. Let's just say you spend $3K right on top of the $2K that you already
Right.
spent,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you get it running and clean it up. Like that's
And if it's got a
$5,000
90,000
car
mile
that's worth-
motor,
right? Exactly. That's
cool.
it's easily worth 8, 9, 10 grand.
Right.
Right.
And that
Or
was the
so.
idea, was to get into something that was kind of performance related. You can learn to drive stick. You could take it to an autocross if you wanted to, and kind of try to push your limits and make it sound cool. And I'd be interested to drive it every once in a while. You know, V8 things, they just sound good. So
they sound good.
They do sound delightful.
He's had it for sale for a while and never really had anyone actually. I think that's part of the issue with some things that require trailers to pick them up.
Yep.
If you actually go out there with a trailer, they're gonna cut you a deal because this thing was listed for $3,000 for 4 months.
Yeah.
Nobody picked it up. Show up with a trailer, you can have it for $2,000.
Yep.
If you get it out of my face,
Right,
you can have it.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, I know you're serious. You took the time to hook the trailer up and drive down here. So,
Right.
yeah, that helps.
It does help.
The ultimate enabler.
So that'll be on the updates list soon once we start actually
You need like a
poking at it.
whiteboard to start keeping track of this
do,
thing.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what all the things each person's working on. And
I need that for myself.
I could definitely use that for myself, to be honest. Whiteboards are expensive, by the way.
I know. They are.
Talks about spending money on
What a
multiple
stupid
project
object.
cards.
It's like, it's one of those things. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna go on Amazon and buy one of these real quick, and you're like, damn, for a decent sized whiteboard, it's like,
$25.
no, try like 40 or 50.
40?
Yeah.
What the hell? Come on, Staples, where you at? The expensive whiteboards.
Out of business, probably. Anyways.
But yeah, so next up, event,
Yeah.
Brapapalooza.
Rapapalooza.
It's the Pole Barn Palooza, but
Pole Barn Palooza.
also
Whoa.
Combined
You gotta skip me.
Brapapalooza. Sorry.
You
Oh.
dicks.
Oh, what'd you do?
Be
Dave?
assertive,
Go
Dave.
ahead. You better have something
all right.
good now.
What do you mean?
we'll tease them with that real quick. And
Yeah,
We'll get to
Yeah,
it.
okay.
head into Dave's updates.
Wow. All right. Yeah, fuck me,
Really
right?
just keep that in the back of their mind.
So, last week at some point,
You do have exciting updates.
I do have exciting updates. I think they're exciting.
I'm excited.
Last week, Kevin messages me and goes, "Hey, go buy this." And of course, it's a Moto 4. And I'm here's the funniest thing. Here's the funniest thing about what sold me on it. I was like, "All right, I'll go look at it." But here's what Kevin goes. Kevin goes, "We can get it fixed in 20 minutes," and I was sold immediately. I was like, "That's good enough for me."
Ran when parked a year ago.
No, not a year ago. So I
ran when parked 5 years ago.
Nope.
Yeah,
try
fine.
again. Try again.
Really?
Yeah.
It does have the OG tires on it.
Yeah.
You can't buy those anymore.
So I
It makes it more valuable.
I
know.
messaged this guy and I go, "Hey man, I'm gonna come look at this," and he's like, "Okay." Well, I offered him $300, and he goes,
looking at it?
"Yeah." Before looking, hold on.
Whoa,
the
before
negotiation
you
is
even-
shady here. I don't
Hold
know
on.
that I fully support your
Yeah,
negotiation
I-
system.
Negotiation.
Your
Hold
negotiation
on.
is
idea.
trash.
We're gonna come back to that.
So
First
he
of all,
had
it was $500. It was
Right.
listed as $500 for a 125 and the 80cc motor.
We'll get into
And
that
it
in a
turned
second.
into 3 of them.
Yeah. Well,
Three?
hold on.
What's
Yes,
okay, I need
there's
to
a
know.
story.
I don't
You're
I
bad
don't
at
know any of this.
negotiating.
So
Yeah, end of
I
story.
go, no. I got what I wanted. That's all. That's all.
I
that
get
matters.
it. You overpaid for what you probably could have done, and
Well,
you could
so
have gotten
hold
more
on.
things.
So I messaged this guy and I like, "Look, I'll give you $300 for the Moto 4," and he was like, "Just come look at it." And I said, "All right, fine. I'll drive 45 minutes to Niles to come look at it to please you. No problem." I get
Pleasing
there.
yourself. Let's be honest.
That's for you.
Whatever, yeah. I get there and a pretty normal dude, but he's like a Ford guy. He's got like 6 Mustangs sitting in his yard, and I'm like, okay,
Bad
this
sign.
no, but some of them are nice. The one he had 2 in the garage. He had like a 67 or something like that, and then he had like a 93, and it was like maybe I think it was a Cobra. I only saw like half of it underneath the cover, and they were nice. And I was like, okay, this guy takes care of his stuff for the most part, fine. So we start talking, and he's like, well, I'd really like to get rid of all 3 of them today. And I was like, do you see what I drove here in? I was like, I'm taking one of them today, and that's about it. And
So what all did he have? He had the
so
Moto
he had
4,
a-
the 80.
he got a Moto 4, which is the one I got.
Mm-hmm.
He had a 125 Suzuki, whatever,
Not interested.
whatever it
LT
was,
something.
something like that.
Yeah.
And he had a frame with like new tires for like another one of those.
Yeah,
and he
okay.
goes, I'd really like to get rid of all of them.
I'm sure he would.
And I looked him dead in the face and I go, look, I have $300 here. This is the only one I want. I was like, do you want to help me load it in the trailer or not? Or not in the trailer, but in the back of the wagon.
Right.
And he goes, yeah, I guess. And I go, all
That
right,
was
cool.
more than half his asking price. He has no complaints. To
No, I'm sure he doesn't. But I was okay with
But
playing with
that
I
was the
okay-
easy thing to get rid of for him.
That was the
he had
easy
to,
sale.
Well, here's the thing.
other two are
Here's
hard.
what he said.
I can understand. That's why he was trying to rope it into one package.
Well, yeah,
deal.
no, and I was perfectly
yeah.
fine with that. I didn't want the other ones.
Right. Sure.
You know,
yeah.
whatever.
I mean, I probably wouldn't either.
So
I
you know,
I know you would.
well, if you want them, he's still got them, and he asked. He's like, tell your buddies if they want them, come take a look
$100.
at them.
If as part of your package deal, if it could have been $300 for all three,
It wasn't going to be. I had mentioned that
I
because he
question
had
your negotiation
he had
skills.
wanted more on top of that for the other ones, and I was like,
I'll give
absolutely
you
not.
$300 to take the motor for today. I'll send my buddy back down tomorrow. He's gonna come get the frame.
Well, no, that's essentially what he was asking me to do, and I was like, I'll ask. I mean, well, it's
Yeah,
not gonna
yeah.
hurt if I ask him, right? It's extra stuff for you guys.
Did you ask
to,
him
you
to
know,
follow CAD Cars podcast?
You know, no, I have not. So loaded the Moto 4
You
up.
can talk shit.
I said, thanks, whatever. Got it to the house. It obviously wasn't running. Threw some oil in it. Took the carb apart and cleaned the carb out with brake cleaner and just let it sit
And
for a
boom,
while.
20 minutes.
20 minutes. Sure enough, I was ripping it up and down the street like maybe an hour and a half later. And
20 minutes is an hour and a half, same thing.
An hour
whatever.
and a half,
Same
20
thing.
minutes.
Well, I had to
yeah,
get a battery
the
for it
COVID
too.
multiplier.
Well, just
Yeah.
before I even tried to start it or worked on it, I had to get a battery for it first, which was a whole debacle in itself.
I mean, you could have pop started it. It would have been 20 minutes. If you,
I don't think it would have popped. I don't think it
Oh,
would
it'll
have.
pop start.
Oh, it'll
no
pop start.
no battery, no problem.
Well,
It
shit.
won't idle, but-
At its condition when I unloaded it out of the back of the wagon, it would not have pop started. So after I had taken everything apart,
That's just your opinion.
I could have
man.
done it. in
no,
20
it's whatever, Kevin. So get a battery, clean the carb out, put the carb back on, boom, starts up immediately, no problems, runs fine, runs pretty good. We tuned the carburetor a little bit here and there. It smokes a little bit, so it might need to top end, but I'm not sure yet.
30
But
bucks,
I'm just gonna drive it until it
20 more
Yeah,
minutes.
until it,
$30.
until it absolutely needs it. We were driving it, and I got some decent, like, I was just up and down the road up over by my house, and we have some hills over there. And I had noticed that the clutch was slipping quite badly up the hills. And so we pulled the clutch out, and 2 of the clutch discs were non-existent. So I ordered a clutch that should be here next week.
Those are a little pricey in terms of all of the parts.
I got the EBC one, which is like just a
I
regular,
think that's OEM.
like
isn't it?
a standard upgrade for it.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's at OEM. But I ordered that and the gasket and the carb. The carb should actually be at my house now. I ordered
boy.
the carb off
Time to go.
off the Amazon. And even surprisingly, I ordered a key ignition switch that is direct plug-in off of Amazon for like $13, and I was
those
like,
keys, they
all
don't-
right.
they're- it's four wires. Like, the
Right? Yeah,
keys
no,
don't
no.
do anything.
Well, it was $13.
I know. That's
was
what,
like,
yeah,
all
I had
right.
I replaced one that I sold. a while
But
back.
before we had gotten to that, Parker had some kind of crazy industrial switch that was like literally just a flip switch, right? So it's got like
Ooh, I would like the house light switch as an on-off.
That would- yeah.
That would. You should
so
do
he's
that.
got the
Fun
switch.
fact, I
And it's
used
got
to use
the
this for potato guns because we had a drawer
Yeah.
full of them.
Yep. And it's got the panels on the back that you can unplug that, like, I don't know, you guys might know what I'm talking about, but I don't really know what it's called. But it's got multiple panels that you can plug into each, like, socket, I guess is what it would be called. So we put one on the start, like, for the key on and off, and then we put a light on it. So you're driving at night.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's
Boy,
great,
gotta have it,
and
yeah.
we're ready to go. And I might not even put the key on it, just because.
ready for
Yeah,
Browapalooza.
ready
Good
for-
to go.
ready
I
to
mean,
go.
Someone's gonna steal
that
it.
is
They're
not
gonna
a theft
steal it,
deterrent
like-
by
Yeah,
any
I mean,
means. You can pick the
They're
thing
gonna
up.
they're
Like,
gonna
I
pick
just-
up and walk away with it.
I've never taken the key out.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No.
It stays
Uh,
in it. That's what they're for.
Right.
So yeah, I am pleased with my purchase, and thank you, Kevin, for scumbagging me into finally buying one.
Scumbag unit. That was a good deal.
It was a good
Yeah, that
deal.
was
Even
well.
for the $300, I was like, this is fine.
Welcome.
I was like, I am 100% okay paying this $300 for this.
Welcome
I do
to the
not care.
squad.
Yeah.
So like I
happened.
said, we drove it around the yard. It rips. It's, besides the clutch slipping, which kind of sucks, but I mean, you can feel the potential power that's there.
Yeah. You've got the fix on the way. It'll
That's
be
what I
great.
tell everybody too. My clutch just slips. It'll make a bunch of power.
But yeah, so it's a part right now in the garage, and I'm working on that. So yeah, we'll work on that whenever I get more parts, and it should be done by
Yeah, I think it's a good transition into
yeah. Well,
Pole Barn Palooza.
Pole arm,
I'm not
please.
done yet. I want to talk about my
Jeez,
weekend.
okay. All right, he's not done.
So I went to the Superfly Art in Motion this weekend, Saturday and Sunday at Dragway 42.
I would have went if it wasn't 90 billion degrees.
It was very hot. Watched the Cummins blow its brains out on
Wait,
track.
They did a really poor job of advertising that.
They
'cause
did a
didn't
really bad
know-
job of
Yeah.
it. I did briefly hear about it. I knew it was the day I was getting back from vacation,
Yeah.
but I was like, that actually sounds
So-
pretty good, allowing the
Yeah.
camping and everything.
So we went. It was hot. I think I think a lot of it was how hot it was and the fact that it was 4th of July weekend. I think that the turnout wasn't
It was on 4th of
super
July.
great,
Yeah.
but there was still people there participating.
I didn't even know about it, honestly.
Right.
Like, they didn't put it out there.
Yeah.
And if they had, promoted it better, then I think more people would have came.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll
But,
learn for next year.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. That's why I said the same thing. It needs to be advertised more.
Yeah.
But
Do you think it was busy enough for them to do it again?
oh yeah, it'll happen again.
Okay.
That's there's no doubt about that. But we did set up an autocross track, and there was at least 8 or 10 people within a rotation, like hourly for doing autocross. I ran the Corrado through it once, and I was like, I might look into doing this more frequently because it
fun.
was pretty
It is
good,
fun. It is
and
fun.
that car is
It's good, cheap fun.
pretty good for
In any
for
car.
autocross.
And you'll never learn a car better than that.
Yeah.
Like, any driving you do on the street does not compare to trying to do an autocross or any
Yeah.
type of event like that. You learn way more, way faster.
Yeah. But
Obviously,
yeah,
people would argue track days above all of that.
I'm
but
sure, but
the
for the
cost of
price.
entry
Yeah,
is
for
much
the
higher
price.
for the
Yeah.
track days. Autocross.
So there may be a point in time where I may revisit autocross with the Corrado to see what kind of happens there, and
their events there in general are good,
Right,
not
yeah.
just the ones that they set up for that
Oh,
event,
yeah.
but the ones that the Akron Sports Car Club does.
Yeah, they have a
are they doing it at Dragway now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
they've been
Okay.
doing it at
Yeah.
I
Dragway.
didn't know that.
And they have like mile-long courses. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
a
great.
full
It's like-
minute.
I'm
It's
on
one
that
of the
page. I
longest
guess I never really paid
autocrosses.
attention to it.
One of the longest autocrosses, I think, in the nation. Really, like
Over a
yeah.
minute.
if
Well,
you're
when I was-
lucky to see over 30 seconds in
Yeah.
most places, and
Well,
there's so much space that they end up running a minute or more,
Yeah.
which can be good for some cars and bad for some cars because
Yeah.
you're really pushing it.
well, especially at 95 degrees,
Right.
like
Flat out,
yeah.
like tires pushed to the
Um,
limit, like red line. That's a long time.
But yeah,
So it's good.
so I might revisit that. The place we used to go to, Geauga Lake over in Bainbridge, their parking lot, they used to do autocross there, and like it's a theme park parking lot, and it was huge, and it was like at least a 4-minute track.
4-minute
Yeah.
autocross?
It was huge. The track was
I've never heard of that.
it was a huge track. Maybe not 4, maybe like 2.5, but you know what I'm getting at.
4 minutes, maybe 30 seconds.
200
I don't
horsepower,
know.
It was-
400
it was
horsepower,
not-
whatever.
It was not 30 seconds. But, so yeah, that was Moto 4 things and car show stuff this weekend, and that was about it. And I had a good time, and it was hot.
Yeah, it was.
I got burnt. My legs hurt.
I, for the first time, responsibly brought sunscreen to a dirt event.
All right.
Yeah.
I've been
Hey,
spending
proud of me.
so much time out digging
First drift
ditches
is-
in the sun that
I was
it
gonna
didn't make
say.
a difference. I didn't wear sunscreen. I'm not even burnt. It's rare.
But, yeah.
If you're gonna autocross again, let me
Yeah,
know.
let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely more fun when you go with people you know.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Well,
not,
you wanna
here's
show-
the
you
thing. Here's
wanna
the thing
show
is,
them
like,
you
I'm
can beat
not trying to beat the ever living piss
Well,
out of
no.
my car, right?
Well,
like,
that's the
I'm
other
trying
thing,
to
too,
drive
is that,
it
like-
aggressively
Yeah,
without.
But I still want to make sure I can beat you.
Right,
So
right.
Oh, I'm sure you can.
that's,
like,
that's
There's
why,
no doubt in my
that's
mind.
why it's
that you
fun
can-
for me.
They have classes and all that, but
Yeah.
I don't really care.
No, you
because
compare to
most
your
of the time
friends.
you're outclassed anyways. And you
Right,
just want
yeah.
to race against your friends.
Well,
so
look,
it's
I'm
a lot
telling you,
more
my
fun when you go with
93
people
Corrado isn't going to do anything against someone's 2008 Evo that's
Well, yeah.
set up for auto.
That's what I'm saying. Who cares? It doesn't matter. I don't care
Completely
what
different.
class I'm in.
But
Yeah,
your
no.
friend with his other 90s shitbox, absolutely.
So Parker autocrossed the E30, and
Nice.
after he had just put all new garagistic or whatever bushings in the back, and got all this stuff set up. And boy, even though that car's an automatic, he beat the fucking piss out of it, and it did well. He was quick. I
Yeah.
was like, this is interesting.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. It's always fun. Any car.
Right. Yeah.
Slow car,
like throw that
automatic
class
car.
crap out the window.
whatever.
Unless you're serious about it and like you
Yeah.
buy the right car for the class, like
Yeah.
you're not gonna
Yeah.
be that competitive.
Not-
Really.
definitely.
I feel
Even if you're a really good
that
driver,
takes away
and-
the fun of it, though. Whenever you get, like, I'm just trying to drive my car a
It's
little
just
bit
not
more
worth
aggressively. Like,
that-
I'm not.
Some people are into it, and good for them. Like
Yeah.
they can stay committed to that. But I'd rather spend my time elsewhere. It is fun, no
Yeah.
matter what.
Mhm.
And
It's like go-karting.
right.
It's just fun to go out and just
Originally, I
race something
started. I did a couple autocrosses with the 135, and I was like, oh, I'll stick within my class rules and stuff. And then I was like,
This is stupid.
there's M3s in my class. Like, what am I doing? Why am I even bothering with this? And I just did whatever mods I wanted to because it was,
Yeah.
I wanted to do those mods. So
Yeah.
Right.
gave up that whole idea. Just had fun with the car.
I don't blame you. I had fun. Like I said, I only ran the track once, and I was like, that was enough for me to be like, let me look my car over, make sure it's good.
I'd rather
Maybe
be
I'll-
like, oh, you know, I beat you, Dave, around the course. Like,
Right.
oh, my car's this much faster.
Right.
Or just trying to beat yourself.
I'm this
even.
much slower
Yeah.
than you. Like, oh man.
It's
I
nice to
think-
see that the modifications you do make a difference too.
Mhm.
Like that's a
Yeah.
great
Because they
one.
do run like similar, if not identical, track layouts there.
Oh,
Most of the time.
I will say before I even left to go there, I was concerned because the Corrado has a temperature issue sometimes where it likes to be a dick.
Sometimes, huh?
Yeah, no. But luckily, it didn't have any issues this weekend, even though it was very hot. Ran fine, didn't run weird. I was
Well,
like,
we utilized our water temperature gauges quite a bit this weekend. So
Yeah.
I bet.
Oh yeah.
but yeah, let's talk about the next thing here because I'm finished.
the
Okay.
Are we
the
allowed?
pole
Are
barn
we allowed?
palooza
Yeah,
for
is
the,
he now?
for the third
Turn-
time.
do we
yeah,
have
I'm
permission?
done. I'm done. I'm sorry.
quickly turned into the Brapple palooza. I mean, it's both really.
For some reason, my brain went to Bravapalooza, although I did read.
Well, that's
Pole
what
Barn
we're most
Palooza.
excited about. I mean,
I'm
Kevin's
excited for the
I
pole
say
barn.
it's gonna be
they're
good.
both good.
Yeah.
It's gonna
I'm
be
excited
shade.
for a picture with like 12 Moto 4s lined up.
I am very excited about that.
Because
Oh,
everyone's.
you
We've
wanna-
never had
so
like a full
I'll bring my
squad
Polaroid.
photo.
I have a Polaroid that we can just
The vintage.
yeah.
Yes.
We'll make it worth
Yes,
it.
that'll
So
be
the
good.
idea is, my buddies are coming from Connecticut to visit for a weekend. And I was like, oh, you know, they want to check out the garage, kind of, you know, it's kind of at
That's
a,
why you were doing it.
it's at kind
Here
of
I
a
was
mile
thinking
marker.
You cared about us.
I mean, it's a combination. It's a combination. It's like you might as well combine the two things. You know,
That's
they want
fine.
to
You
come
already
check
said
it out.
Kevin. You already said it.
So the floor is done. Yeah, it's not insulated yet, but like it's at a point where I'm starting to function. I picked up a toolbox the other day. By the way.
Ooh.
One of my two toolboxes.
Want to sell yours yet?
Once I get a second one, yes.
Okay.
I'm finally taking like my one vertical toolbox and spreading it out into like a reasonable sized drawer and everything. And
Takes up way more space than you think.
yeah, no, I'm tired of having drawers that are just so full that I can't keep. I gotta like stack stuff and they're like jamming when I'm opening them.
digging for the wrench.
And
Yeah.
it's just not fun anymore. So I'm really spreading tools out and trying to do it right. So I'm gonna get one more box. I waited long enough and found one that was like, here's a Harbor Freight box. It's practically brand new. I just upgraded to another one, a bigger one, whatever. So you know, have it for $200 off. I was like, I'll come get
Perfect.
it right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thing's brand new, basically. So
People talk very highly of the Harbor Freight
Yeah,
boxes.
no,
the
nowadays.
new ones they
They're-
got
they're
are-
Price per
supposedly pretty
dollar.
good.
They're-
Yeah.
So you look at like the Husky things from Lowe's, they're pretty good, but you get like 9 drawers versus like 15, and the screwdriver's only so tall. So you need to like pick your battles there, I guess. You know, right?
Man has a point. Yeah.
It's true.
You can stack stuff in the taller drawers, but I don't want that. So I'd rather have more drawers.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, garage is kind of like at a point where I'm ready to
Have people over.
have
for-
people be like, "Oh, this is pretty cool! Like, look what you did," type of
Kevin.
thing. I don't. It's been a lot of work, you know. I'm still got a lot of work to go, but as little progress as it seems that I make, like a lot of effort
Little?
goes into it.
What do you mean?
There's a lot of.
You didn't
effort.
have there was no pole barn sitting there last year.
It probably doesn't
There
seem
was
like
a-
that much time to
No,
you,
there was
but to
a-
me, it's
there
like
was
this
a-
has been a pretty long project.
There's
a lot of money.
There was a framework.
Yeah.
There. That was it.
It
You
started
got
in
a floor. You got a lift. You got cars in there. You got heat going
Started
in.
in
What do
October.
Say, use the little
Yeah.
shop.
You
Well,
got,
anyway, all right. So the idea was to have
Kevin,
you
you're
know,
doing great.
some friends come out.
You're being
They're,
humble.
you wanted to have like an Ohio trip. It's been a long time. Whatever. They haven't come out in a while. 2 years, I
Everybody misses
think.
Ohio.
Hey now.
Um,
Hey now.
maybe they were out last year. I don't know. They were out last year, I think, actually. Maybe 2 years ago when
Yeah.
I first did my livery on the E36.
Oh, yeah. Ghost
Josh,
Images.
Ghost
Okay.
Images brought the vinyl out and we wrapped it and went to a Midville event. So this year we're doing the pole barn
back
event,
to Midville.
and then we're going back to Midville
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
What day is it? What day is Midville?
It's a Sunday.
Sunday.
This
The
Sunday.
19th, the day
2
after
weeks.
Okay.
Brapapalooza.
The day after.
Oh boy, that's a bold move.
Yeah,
That's kind of what I thought, but
it's a
I
relaxed
get it.
event.
that was
I
my
get it.
initial thought, and then I was like, well, you know what? Like, I don't really go too crazy. I don't like drink a whole bunch
Yeah,
or anything
yeah,
when
yeah.
brapping, so it's like.
And
actually,
Midville doesn't
it's-
start till 10.
Right.
Noon.
So actually, it's a pretty
Well,
good setup.
Gates open at 10.
Gates
You can
open at
drive
10.
till 10.
And that's at
noon.
Midville?
So, yeah.
So not too far.
I might tag along
It's
to
a
that.
noon to like 6 p.m. event, so
Yeah,
it's pretty
great.
relaxed, whatever. And
Yeah.
it's on a Sunday. It's fine. So they're coming out. Gonna kind of show them what I've done, hang out, and catch up.
Yeah.
but then we're also pretty much collecting everyone's mini quads, mini dirt bikes at the same time.
Squad.
Yeah, pretty much everyone. So you're gonna have yours. You're gonna have Derek's, Charlie's 2, Mike's. I
have one Moto 4.
Yeah, but they're all gonna be in the picture.
We'll
I'm
have
trying
some
to think of how
ancillary
many
things. Well, strictly Moto 4 count right now.
Boy, okay.
Moto
all
4
right,
count.
All right, so Dave has 1.
Yep.
I have 2.
Yep. I have 1.
You have 1.
Will has 1.
Will has 1. Charlie has 2.
Different vintage.
Bringing
So,
2.
Badger.
That's okay. That's
Yeah, it's fine.
Same thing.
Didn't know if it counted.
It's the same motor. It's fine.
That's 6. Is
Yeah.
that it?
Corey?
Corey.
Oh,
Yeah.
7.
Are we
You
just
didn't
buying
count
all
Derek
of
this
these?
time.
Is that the plan?
We are
No, I did.
driving the price up by demand for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people
cornering
wanting
the
Moto
market.
4s.
Yeah.
So
Well, I did. For the longest time, it didn't make sense to me. I was like, I don't know why you guys keep buying these tiny quads. And then I looked at the price of everything that you need to rebuild them, and I was like, this makes complete sense.
we'll do a photo and organize it by like wheel count. So we'll have four-wheel things, 3-wheel things, 2-wheel things.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll be
that'd be good.
a big old lineup.
So how many?
and
So we got 7 Moto 4s.
something like that.
At least.
So 3-wheelers. We got
Mine and Mike's at least.
1, 2.
And yours.
I plan on having it there.
So that's
Yeah.
3.
3. That's it.
And then
3 3-wheelers.
XR80. Pete might be bringing an XR70.
Yep.
I think that's set for 2-wheel things.
I'll probably bring the trials bike too to dig around.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
4.
So
Squad.
3.
Squad.
This is gonna be a lot. Your yard's
That's
gonna be.
a cover
you're
photo
gonna have to.
right there.
You're gonna
If I
have
ever
to
seen one.
start
I mean,
investing in.
As long as Mike
some
doesn't do
fertilizer.
standing burnouts all over the yard like he did last time in his
What?
trials bike.
Standing burnouts.
I can see the spot. Like
I must not have been
I know
present
it-
for this.
I know
I
I
think I
looked
do
over
recall
and saw
this.
you just kind of sitting there on the front brake with the front wheel turning at like 1 RPM.
Front wheel. What are you
The
talking
rear
about?
Rear wheel. Sorry. I vaguely
Front wheel
might
drive
recall
dirt bike
something
would be
like
weird
this.
though. Think about it for a
All-wheel
second.
drive dirt bike.
Well,
They make
there's
one of
plenty
those.
of woods for you to tear up. You can tear up the woods all you want. You know, I mean, whatever happens, happens. It's fine. We'll get them all together.
It's fine. It's not fine. It's not fine.
There's,
Don't break the house. No.
it took a lot of effort to get a lot of grass out there. All right.
I also feel like, just for the record, that area, the what is potentially going to become a berm at some point by the
I hope so.
by the.
It's gonna be the drop-in from the patio.
right
That's
from
what I
the
want.
patio. I feel like we should at least put some sort of foam down on the patio edging, just in case somebody
I
wants.
mean, there's
like a
already a
temporary
berm
fence.
there.
Ooh, yeah, like the gymnastics
You need a little, like-
things. Yeah, the big.
Yeah, to
That's
keep
the barrier.
the dust out of the food
Well,
being cooked.
yeah, keep the dirt off the patio and
Yeah.
off the food.
I was thinking more to keep the people off from splitting their heads.
No,
open.
no,
But
that's-
Remind me.
yeah,
I
that's-
bought one of those.
That's on you.
yeah.
Pop-up tent things too.
Oh,
He's got a big barn there, you know.
He does have a big barn.
All right.
Big
so
old-
barn will be open.
More shade, mo better.
Yeah.
Mo shade, mo better. I got a pop-up tent too. Maybe I'll bring mine along.
I have one also.
Look at those.
Yeah.
Why are we bringing
And I
pop-up
have an
tents? We got a
umbrella.
whole ass
Tent
pole,
Palooza.
whole ass pole barn there. What do we need?
I think we'll be okay.
For?
I get
We
excited because I bought it.
Which kind did you buy?
I don't know, some
Some-
generic one from Walmart. I got jealous because we went to Circleville and Kevin brought that thing and it was
Oh,
like
he parked
super
his car
nice
in it,
and I
you
was
were
like,
like, oh,
I
man."
need that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
Pop-up
but-
tents.
shade is nice,
Pop-up,
especially
yeah.
a pit race where there isn't any.
Yeah.
So, $80, that's worth it all day.
Yeah.
You can vote. I think I got mine for 40.
Well, cool.
You overpaid.
They're out
Will.
there.
Apparently,
Just like me on the Moto 4.
Just bought
I was
a
nervous
big
to buy
trailer
the
with a
cheapest
roof.
one out there because it's just,
I think we got it at Dick's.
Yeah.
really that's really cheap. Must have been on clearance.
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Works great.
Well, everybody, that's I think that's all we have for today's episode. We've
Sure you
covered a
wanna keep
lot
talking?
of.
How long
I mean,
has
we
it
can
been?
keep going. You want to? What is this? You want to do a 2-hour-long episode here? What else do we got to
Might
talk
as well
about?
set a record or something.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if you noticed this, but our episodes have been increasingly getting longer and longer each time we film one.
We'll talk
I
about
say
something
we didn't even get
technical
into
next
anything technical. Like
Next
this
time.
Kind
Yeah.
I feel like we've
of, we
covered a
were
lot
on
of.
point with just babbling this time.
Yeah.
I think.
time.
We're
A
not-
lot.
Yeah. So we're
What-
caught up.
Yeah.
Next
Yeah.
week we'll talk. I mean, we'll be 1 week out from Pole Barnapalooza.
Yeah.
We'll talk about how the things are getting repaired if necessary.
How it's going with
and
crunch time, you
crunch
know?
time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to be ready. We got to
Should be
make
good.
sure that we can all race around the yard there.
Right on.
It's ready. There's a pretty much permanent burn.
Yeah, you're
in my
ready,
yard.
Kevin.
Your yard's ready.
I
The
will
little
say
tiny things
I
are
am
not ready.
I am ready to
Not all
aggressively rip the Moto 4 because it's actually mine.
Yeah.
I am ready to
Put it in a tree.
Yeah, do something stupid. Because like when I drive your guys, I'm like I don't want to break it. I'm just gonna go easy.
It gets
but, like,
real bad
on
when there's
mine,
like
I'm
a
just
train
like,
going down through the woods and you're just trying to chase
Right.
everybody. You start getting real reckless.
yeah.
If you have a
so
helmet, bring it, and
Definitely
goggles.
bring
I do need to. Yeah, I have goggles.
Gloves are mint just because you don't
I did.
shred up your
Oh, I
hands.
put new grips on it. I went to Summit Racing and they scumbagged me with those $11.99 grips, and guess what? They fit really well, and I was pretty pleased with them. Because the grips that were on there were just.
Yeah.
I was like, $11.99 sounds good enough
New
for
grips
me.
are nice.
Yeah, they got yellow on them too. I made sure to match the Moto 4 logo.
Sick.
Really attention to detail here.
Wow.
Oh,
Is
one
this
more
a build?
thing. Yeah, it is a build. One more thing. Kevin, you know about this. So the guy that I bought it from must have welded the kick or the shift lever to the shaft.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Splines be gone.
Yeah.
No, the splines are still there.
What?
I don't know how he did it, but the splines are still there. So I spent a half hour grinding this thing off here. This dude must have moved it out and like laid weld like in it so it didn't ruin the splines. So it had broke obviously because we were riding
Why?
it. Right.
Right.
I'm assuming he just lost the screw that goes in there, the set screw or whatever.
Oh, maybe.
Or
So-
they blow the splines out of the shifter sometimes.
That's
It
true.
sucks.
Just
Like,
the
not
True.
the shift shaft,
Yeah.
the shifter itself.
Okay.
So
So
That would happen.
I
if you
spent
lost
about
the
a
bolt.
half hour grinding the old one off. Made sure to not ruin it completely, right, in case I need to reuse it. But I ordered one off Amazon for like $12, $13. One of those aluminum ones, and I'm kind of skeptical on it because but it should be fine.
it should be fine on that.
But,
I put one on the
I mean, it's- yeah,
three-wheeler, and
yeah.
it worked fine up until it.
Yeah,
Like, the
did.
three-wheeler case was in the way, so it kept
Okay.
hitting the engine a little bit.
Yeah.
I broke it.
Okay. But yeah, I kept the old one, and there's enough there on the old one for me to, if I wanted to, re-weld it on
Graft
there,
it
which I
together.
really won't
Yeah.
do
No.
that because it's a pain in the ass. You can't get that cover off.
Right.
And I had to pull that cover off and just to kind of inspect the stator and everything that's in there. And it's like I wanted to make sure that it wasn't all like gross and dirty in there. But that was probably the longest amount of time I spent on it so far was just grinding the shift lever off because someone's negligence just decided to weld it on there. I mean, I can get why.
Yeah, your kid wants to ride the thing, and
Right? Yeah. Well, no,
Or
it
it's
was
one of the old trail
it got
fixes, you know, like-
it was funny because it got progressively worse, right? And I thought something had actually broken, right? Because like we were moving it, and it would shift, and then the one time I went to shift down, and it was just like, and I was like, oh, all right, and then I was like, oh, it must be broken. So I like did all that and got it off, and turned out the shaft was fine and everything else. The
Right.
interior, like we pulled that cover off, and it's clean in there.
Nice.
This
It should be.
there was no fuel in it when it was sitting.
They're like
Like it
super
was,
bulletproof motors.
Yeah.
You-
yeah.
oh no, I was just amazed
Look
at
how
how
old
clean-
these
how clean
all
it-
are. And
I
they're
will
like
say-
all running great. Like
I will
overbuilt.
say, the area where the airbox is, I hadn't really realized it before I picked it up, but it must have caught fire at some point.
Oh.
Yeah. It looked a
So-
little questionable in the front end there.
well,
like the
it
fuel
runs
tank
fine.
overflow,
So
and
like
it's
I'm
like-
just gonna instead
Or
of
the
running
car
that
caught fire.
that tube out
Oh, yeah, it
into
is
that,
up front.
I'm just gonna buy one of those filters and just put a filter on the carb and just leave it how it is, and maybe use that area for I don't know, more lights. Why not?
Sure.
Maybe some party lights.
Sick.
But yeah, that was the last
We'll
update I had
hear
for
about
that.
it next week.
I'm
Yeah.
super stoked for it. I was having a blast riding up and down the street.
So
All my neighbors were like, but you know,
Yep. That's the
Caught the
point.
bug.
yeah, I did count the bug.
That's
I'm
it.
glad we spread it around. It's
Yeah,
good.
I'm glad
is
too,
good.
because like I've been looking for something to do. Like the Corrado's, I don't got to work on it all that much right now, and
Just something
I'm
to
looking
get
for something
into,
else to
low
do, and I'm like,
maintenance, just
what am I
fun.
doing with my
Yeah.
hands here?
Yeah.
So yeah, not to go back into that rant, but yeah,
It fills the voids.
it does.
Yep.
And it's a small enough project for me to spend money on and not be like, ooh.
Little stuff.
You know,
Big
it's funny.
ticket items, really.
It's
so nice.
exactly. It's probably less expensive than being into RC cars,
Oh yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I think so.
and you get to ride it.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't ride I mean, I guess you could technically ride an RC car if you tried hard enough. But
Yeah.
yeah, no. I think it needs a wheel bearing on the left side of it, which I'm gonna worry about when it falls off.
We've pretty much perfected rebuilding the rear ends on these things. So
Yeah. Honestly,
didn't-
like the internet doesn't even really know how to
Nope.
rebuild its rear ends. We've
Not at all.
cornered it.
Well, no, not the rear end. Just
The
just
front.
The front.
Oh.
Yeah, the front
the
one's
rear
easy
end.
too.
The rear end seems fine. It wasn't making any weird noises. Are they serviceable? I don't actually know.
Yeah.
Is there a fluid? Can you
Kind
change
of.
the fluid?
Until
in
they-
it?
There's no
That's it.
fluid.
Okay.
Until they go,
Yeah.
they're serviceable. You can replace the bearings. You can repack it with grease.
Okay.
You can reshim it.
Yeah.
All that stuff. But once it's gone, they're pretty gone.
Yeah.
We've done a few. Well, Mike's done one, and I've done one now. Of basically, just welding gears on teeth.
Teeth on
gears.
Yeah.
Okay.
With a TIG welder, and then grinding them down to like kind of the right shape.
Yeah.
Where it looks right, and
Yeah.
it kind of meshes okay, and you don't really know what's going on, but like it's more than
Just
what
go with
was
the
there
looser
before.
end of the
No,
spectrum there.
yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean, you might as well, right? It's gonna,
Oh, yeah,
it's gonna
I mean,
wear,
you
it's
can't
gonna wear
replace it,
anyways to
so
fit. So
You
you
can't
really
get the
have
parts
nothing to
anymore.
lose.
There's
Yeah.
various failures of like once it loses a bearing on the pinion or something, it can chew up the ring gear and
well, I will say, it was driving fine.
yeah. So
It wasn't
yeah,
making any
no
weird
worries.
noises.
don't touch it then.
Yeah, no, there's no reason to touch
But
it.
they're like the rear ends are sealed from the factory, and
Right.
it's just grease in there.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure. Well, they
They-
have the grease. I don't know if the rear. I know the front end has a grease fitting on mine.
Not
Rear's got
really.
nothing.
There's
No.
no serviceable
No.
grease
Okay.
stuff.
When I
no.
pulled mine apart the first one, it was just full brown liquid, just mess, gross. But it was able to be brought back with
Yeah.
some fresh bearings and everything, and
Yeah.
now it's good to go.
Yep. Let it be.
Mine blew up because it wasn't a bearing didn't die. It was the axle got loose,
Okay.
and then the ring gear shifted over and got away from the pinion, and then it broke a tooth.
Charlie
Yeah.
had the spring fail between
Yeah.
the shaft and the pinion gear.
Right.
It's a shaft-driven quad, so
Yeah.
it's kind of a weird setup.
It is weird.
Yeah, it's something that you'd think is completely maintenance free, and it's close, but
So,
not as.
One other
you know,
thing. I
bulletproof.
have one rear wheel that's a 3-bolt, and one rear wheel that's a 4-bolt.
What?
The hubs,
Yeah.
the
Someone
hubs
changed the hub.
slide on a spline, so they're pretty interchangeable.
Right.
But
But
but the hubs also break or bend pretty easy.
so the
So-
one side didn't have, it had a piece of wire through it and a washer through the actual
It's supposed to be a
axle.
washer.
Well, there was no nut though. It was just a piece of wire. It was just a roller. I don't think it had been driven like that. I think that they had taken it apart and they had lost it.
Yeah, normally they have a castle nut on there. That's,
Right. So I just, I went to the hardware store and I was like, I just need an M12 by 1.25, and I was like, I'll put that on there. If I want to make it into a castle nut, I'll make it into a castle nut. I don't really care that much. But
you can put a cotter pin on there and prevent it from backing off anyway, right?
Yeah.
So
Mine have come loose on me a couple times.
yeah, I just kind of I put it on there and tightened it, and it was like, it's gonna stay that way, and hopefully it doesn't come loose.
it should be fine.
You'll
As
know.
of now, it's fine.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll be ripping down the hill in the backyard. The rear wheels will just go.
We haven't quite figured out which ones come with 3 versus 4.
Right. No, I was
Yeah,
kind of
some
wondering
year
that too.
split
Like some of them
thing.
are.
It's a weird year split thing. Also, like,
hadn't
Mike
seen the
says,
rear, but-
Mike says front brakes.
His also does.
Mine has front brakes
Okay.
also.
So the 4-bolt.
Well, they don't
front
work.
was the brakes.
They don't work for shit.
Yeah, but you have drums there.
Yeah.
I also have non-working front brakes.
The rear brakes are real squeaky, but they work enough.
Neither
Yeah.
of mine have front brakes.
Yeah.
So
Charlie's doesn't have front brakes. Derek's doesn't have front brakes.
yeah, it's kind of a weird toss up. There's a
Yeah,
year
it's like an
split for
option
like
or
the hubs,
something.
and there's a year split for the front brakes, or I
Yeah.
don't know what it is, but
It's the weirdest thing is like I had talked to you or whatever, and I was like, "Where's the year at on this?" And you had told me, and then as soon as we hung up the phone, I forgot completely,
Yeah.
and I was like,
We'll check on mine, which you're currently sitting on. But
"Currently, your plastics are a lot nicer than mine." Although I will say
are
mine cleaned up
remarkably nice.
pretty well. It cleaned up decently.
they shine up pretty easy.
Yeah. I might take a buffer to it if I care that much. It'll probably be the cleanest it's ever going to be.
That's what I tried on mine, and it came back pretty
yeah,
good.
once the race quad's together, I'm going to like take a picture of it and then not care after that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But
Blasted the frame
we're-
and everything.
yeah,
like-
we're continuing to rant here.
Yep.
We're at an hour
Gotta
30.
cut it.
Oh,
Okay.
boy.
All right, boys and ladies, maybe.
Say it again. Let's. Oh, what? Oh shit! What?
I accidentally hit the stop recording button.
Oh my
We
god.
can- we can-
That's
It's
what I'm
fine.
worried about. Are you recording again?
yeah.
Okay. I'll say it again. Leave us some reviews. Leave us some comments. You can do it anywhere. Do it on iTunes. Do
Well,
it
not
on
anywhere.
Spotify. Do it on Instagram. Whatever.
Anywhere you can listen.
iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify.
Yeah. Side note: we did actually take down the podcast recordings from the ECS Tuning YouTube page
Yes.
and created a new YouTube page, CAD
Correct.
Podcast. So those are all going to be in one easy.
In case
to
you
find
want to watch
location.
us sit around and talk.
So
Well,
Yep.
they're all organized, and
Yeah.
they don't affect other videos because it does affect the algorithm and how others are
does.
viewed.
does
Yes.
stupid
So
things. So
things
makes
were
sense.
happening.
That makes
So,
sense.
Like we said, catch us on CAD Cars.
Yeah.
on
Give some
Spotify,
feedback,
YouTube,
topic ideas, whatever you want.
iHeartRadio,
Okay,
iTunes.
before you do this 12 times,
Go ahead, Kevin. You just
cut it off.
Kevin's gonna say
Yes.
goodbye.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.